Hi everyone, I'm Angela and welcome to Crafting with Angela. Today I'm going to show you how to make a card using one paper punch. So I have this butterfly paper punch. It's from Paper Shapers. It is absolutely ages old. I couldn't tell you how long I've had it. And I'm going to use it today to make a card that I hope you will enjoy. It's a really simple card, but it looks really well done when it's finished. What I have is I have a 5x7 card base in craft paper with a matching envelope. I also then have a selection of thin card and papers in a whole range of rainbow colours here. And I'm going to use these papers I'm going to use the punch on these papers. I also have a small slither of white card that I'm going to use for the top of it. And then the only other things I am going to need some form of glue. So I'm using a Burley art glue. I have a Sakura jelly roll pen in Clear Star and Nuvo Drops in White Blizzard. That'll just finish the card off. And then for my sentiment today, I'm going to use Creative Expressions Wordy Sentiment Sheets in the Milestones. But that any sentiment, if you have a stamp, you could use it instead. If you don't have the jelly roll and the Nuvo Drops, you can just use a fine tipped marker in whatever colour you happen to have. So let's just get started then. So as I said, this is a fairly simple card. What I am going to do, and I'll show you how I do it for the first couple and then I'm going to speed through the rest because you don't need to watch me doing this multiple times, is I am just going to go in and stamp out or cut out with the punch the butterfly shape. Now if you don't have a punch, you could use a die. It would take more time because a punch is obviously much quicker to do. But there's nothing to say you can't do that. So all I'm going to do here is go in and I'm going to punch out 3 out of each colour, trying to make sure not to go too close to the edges. And when I do use a punch, I always like to do it upside down so that I can see exactly where it's cutting out. And this is why I said you don't, ideally you want this to be quite thin paper or cardstock, because we don't want this to be overly heavy weight when we put this all together. The top one doesn't matter so much, the white one that I'm using, but if you could use gold or you could use silver, any colour that you want, it's just going to be the main outside image. I like the white when I'm putting it on craft card because I think it stands out. But if I really wanted to, I suppose I could go in and colour it in and make it stand out that way. So I've punched out, what's that, 4 different colours so far. I'm going to go through the rest of these and I'll speed through it and see you at the end. Okay, so I've cut out 3 butterflies of 10 different colours plus a white one for the front. What I will say, I'm going to leave the white one off to the side, but what you do want to do is cut this out of card or paper that is the same colour on both sides. I think that works much better when we put this together. I'm using like a thin card heavier paper, but you can also use, anyway, sometimes you can get copier paper that's in the pastel colours. You could use that just as well. I've done that in the past. The only difference is when you come to do this next step, you need a lot more of them. So I would do, instead of doing 3 of each colour, I would maybe do 4 or 5 of each colour. And then all we do is put these together. At this stage, we are not worrying about dimension or anything like that. We're just gluing together. So Burley art glue, very thin line down the middle, and then putting them, lining them up on top of each other and just hold them in place until the glue dries. Now you could, if you wanted, you could put these together in rainbow colour or whatever you want. Personally, I just have put these out randomly in the order that I punched them, and I'm literally just going back and forth through them all. I am taking one colour at a time and moving through them, but you could again choose to do all of one colour and move on that way. You'll just get a different pattern on the outside of your card, or of your butterfly once it's done. Okay, oops. Make sure I haven't got glue on the... No, just making sure I haven't got glue in the back of that green one there. That would be a bit awkward. Or at least it would be for the next stage. You want as thin a line of glue in the center of this as possible. If you don't have a thin applicator like this, you can go a bit thinner, a bit thicker, but just be aware that if you do that, how it ends up looking may be slightly different. You may have something that just looks a bit more thicker at the center. Again, nothing wrong with that, it just is a different look to go for. I don't know if you can see, some of these papers have a pattern on them and some of them are smooth. It really doesn't matter, as long as you've got it's the differences in colour that you're looking for at this stage. All I'm doing is lining these up on one side and then pressing down in the middle, and that's one of them. Now you could stop there and just do this as one. Personally, I like to give it a bit more dimension. This I may not go for 3. Depends whether you're going to hand deliver them or whether you're going to post them. If you're going to post them, maybe one of each colour would work. What I'm doing this time is doing exactly the same thing as I've done, but just instead of gluing it onto the blue one, I'm just starting again. And I'll probably, actually looking at that depth, I'll only do 2 of each, so I'll have one left of everything at the end. Burley Arts glue holds really quickly, so all I'm doing here is pressing down and I don't need to worry beyond that. But if you're using a PVA glue or something that just takes a bit more time, when it comes to the end, you'll just want to make sure you put a heavy weight on top of it to make sure everything is gluing down really nicely in place. Okay, I'm going to leave these other ones then off to the side because I don't think we need them at this point. I think the 2 of them are going to be enough. I'll put them together to make another butterfly later. So here we have our 2 butterflies, and we can either put them on top exactly the same order, so that the blue attaching to the red, or you can reverse them and have the red on either end, and that just gives you like a merge pattern. And that's the way I think I'm going to put it together. I'm going to put the 2 blues together. Just put in a dab of glue down the middle again, and then I'm going to press these together to get them all glued in place. And the last one to do exactly the same, down the middle. And while we wait for that to dry, I'm just going to put the lid on the glue. Just going to set the punch on top of it because those punches are quite heavy. Like I said, if you don't have the punch, use a die, but it just takes a bit more time to go cut out all the different papers with the die. Okay, so there's the card base and the envelope. While I'm just giving that a second to dry, like I said, I'm using these Creative Expressions Wordy Sentiment stamps in the milestones, and I am going to go in here. I want a black one. And I want the one that says, sorry, you're leaving. Oh, I think I have one in here that I've started cutting out already, so let me just see if I can find where that is. Yeah. This is going to be a leaving card. I'm going to go for sorry you're leaving. There is also exciting times ahead, but I think the sorry you're leaving works better for this. And when I am trimming these sentiment strips down, I like to use, I have my wallpaper scissors here that are super long. That's what I like to use because it allows you to cut it in one go, which tends to mean you get a fairly straight cut through everything. Just trim that edge down there. So that's my sentiment that I'm going for. And then all I need to do now, this is a very quick and easy card to put together. Come back in with my glue. On the red one, I am just going, we want to make sure this sticks on here quite well. So I'm going to put quite a bit of glue on the back, not tons. And I'm just going to randomly place it somewhere like that. And again, coming in with the I forgot what the word is, the punch to weight it down on top. And in the meantime, as always, I like to decorate my envelopes. And what I'm thinking here is I'm going to take a couple of the butterflies that we had cut out before. I'm just going to see which ones. There's two here that have the texture, the pink and the purple. I think I'll use those ones. So I'm going to put the pink on the outside of the card and the purple on the inside. So again, with the glue, there's next to no weight behind this, so I'm not as worried. I'm just coming in and putting it down in that bottom corner. Okay, that's the envelope sorted. And then that should be that butterfly sorted on there. So before I do anything with the front, assuming I've opened this right, I have, I'm going to come in and put the purple one down in the inside there as well. And making sure to wipe up any glue that spills out the side because we do not want to glue the card shut. Okay. The inside of the card and the envelope completed. And then what I'm going to do, first of all, I'm not going to put any height on the sentiment. I'm just going to glue it down. So these sentiments you can foil and things like that. And normally I would I would think about, but for this card I don't think it needs the foiling. I think there's enough colour elsewhere, and I think it actually adds to the feeling of the card to leave that. So now what I'm going to do is come in with my Gelly Roll pen, and I'm just going to trace the line of the butterfly's flight. So you won't necessarily be able to see this very well on camera. Just make sure this is working. Give me a scrap or something. Oh, this is really annoying. It was working minutes ago when I checked it. There we go. That's it working now. Okay, so just give it a bit of a roll like that to make sure it's warmed up a bit, and then all I'm going to do is go out like this, do a twist, I'm just going over this line twice because what I want is to make sure it's, like I said, it may not be all that visible on the camera, but it is in real life. You can see the twinkle of it. Okay, so that's the butterfly trail. And then the other thing I like to do, and that's why I have the Nuvo Drops, just giving them a good shake. When Nuvo Drops, when you use them, you want to turn them upside down and put them out onto a piece of scrap paper initially, and then I'm just going to come along every so often and do a circle dot. The last thing I want to do is I've just messed up a wee bit there. Always good to show you how to fix that up. So I'm just going to come in, this one here just doesn't sit right. Just going to come in and scrape that off with something flat, and then coming back in, put another one down there. And then I'm just going to put 3 dots in the centre there and get them all joined together, and that's going to be the body. And turn them around, and you won't be able to see them very well, but we want 2 thin lines for the antenna going up the top. Okay, and you can see these at the minute because they're quite white, but the white Blizzard Drops dry almost translucent, so it will, you'll get the dimension there without much else. And that's the card. Very simple card. I'll show you a picture of it when it's dried and finished. The other thing you can do is just come up and flick these wings up. Should have done that before I put the Nuvo Drops on, but that's what you want to do. Flick those wings up. You can come in and turn them under as well if you want, but I just like giving them a hint of dimension in them. What you see then is all the colour. So if I put that up on its end, you can see all the colour of the wings coming through. And that is my card. I just need to leave it to dry now, and then that will be ready to go.